we mentioned the oversubscribed wall and the intimidation that people feel when they see their ideal role and 500 applications that have already gone in on LinkedIn. It can be very off-putting, but at the same time, it's one of the metrics that a lot of these platforms are using. So we're sort of incentivized to encourage these applications. And I wonder what advice that you have, both from the company side and the candidate side, in how to approach what may feel an oversubscribed position. What do you think the problem is? What can be done about it?
I'm glad you hear that, because I hear it a lot as well, on the recruiter side. And there's frustrations all around, from the candidate, start with candidates, like you say, if you see a role, it's been live 2 days on LinkedIn, it's got 200 applications, and you're naturally going to question whether or not you can be bothered. Do you want to be the 201st candidate? Will I even be seen? Will my application even rise to the top? So, I question why these sites declare those kind of numbers outwardly to the candidate market, at least, because I don't really know what that's achieving. So yeah, I guess the best advice from a candidate point of view is to probably say, well, ignore that. If the opportunity is right, then you're probably going to have to work a bit harder to make sure you stand out in that 201, 300, 400 candidate pile. And there's various ways you can do that. If you use LinkedIn as a good example, you already know who the company is if they're advertising directly. Get on there, go and look at some of the team members, look at their profiles, maybe connect with some of the people within the team you might be joining, or if it's a senior role, maybe connect with a couple of senior peers within that organization. If it's a slightly larger organization, just get a flavor for what the organization is like. Where have they hired from typically previously? Are they receptive to non-industry people, for example? Build a picture of what their prior hiring looked like, because I think that can really inform you as to how you present yourself. If they're that homogenized recruitment company, for example, or business, as I mentioned earlier, that only recruit from Google and they only recruit from X, and you've got to have a certain academic background. If you don't fit that, then you probably say to yourself, I might not get past first base. However, if they're a bit more creative in their thinking, then you can be equally as creative in your thinking. So I think, if that opportunity really resonates with you, if the company, their purpose and whatever really resonates with you, work a bit harder than everyone else, be creative. If you don't hear back in a couple of days, for someone this might be quite tricky to do, but follow up if you can. If there's a recruiter or a hiring manager on there, drop them an email. If you can get their email, give them a call. If you can give them a call and just say, look, I've made this application. I just want to check it's registered. And, it gives you a 30-second opportunity to really promote yourself again. If that doesn't work, one thing I've recommended a few times to people is put a little video together, send a link to the hiring manager, to the team, network with the team. You can get your name in front of the business a bit more than just relying on the interface of whatever their recruitment interface is, whether it's their website, LinkedIn. And I think you've got to be positive about that and see that as an opportunity to stand out. And I appreciate some people will find that difficult. I work in sales and don't mind promoting myself, but for those that don't like promoting themselves, I can see that as being, a bit more challenging. But I think have faith in yourself and do it. Because if you don't, someone else will.
Yeah. I love that, Oliver. And I think that really talks to the requirement to have a clear focus and a narrow niche, because you need to be investing the time. And so you need to feel committed enough to this particular path, because you can't do this for all the ideas and all the potential opportunities that you see. So it's important to narrow that focus as early as you can. Something that you said there about doing the detective work to figure out what the previous hiring plan looks like. How would you suggest someone goes about doing that? Because that's a really, really good idea.
Obviously, if it's a relatively small company, it can be quite easy. Just flick through either all the people within the kind of team areas that you would be working within potentially, and if they're a really small business, go through the whole company, have a look.
On LinkedIn.
Yeah, if they're on LinkedIn, or if you're on LinkedIn, definitely, I think that can be really helpful. It can really help you build a picture of kind of organization, or the kind of organizations they hire from, kind of people they hire from. Then that wouldn't work for every company, but in some cases it can give you quite a big clue. And in the same way as a recruiter, if I'm looking to perhaps engage with a company, I really like their purpose and mission, I would always go and look at that. Where do they hire from? What are their hiring trends? How many have they hired over the last 6-12 months? What's the dynamic look like? Because
And
I
are there
think it
any
helps
tools
shape
that
that
you would
picture.
suggest that people use? So LinkedIn, go find the people who work at the company, see what their past roles were like, and see if you can build that picture. Is this something like Glassdoor can give you an insight to? We're looking at retention and turnover and that kind of approach. Where else could we get some of this information from?
Yeah, I think the detective work there's two parts really. It's just to get a general sense of the organization, and you can do that through their website, career pages, LinkedIn, and any other kind of public sites that they showcase that on. And I think, as you say, Glassdoor's a pretty good tool to get a bit more insight into what prior employees and current employees think of the organization. Again, I would always view that with a bit of caution, because it's very rare you jump on a website to give a positive review. The bias tends to be towards the negative experiences.
Yeah.
With most of these type of review sites, not always, but sometimes. And again, I wouldn't necessarily let the thoughts of one or a few individuals put you off. If for example, that can be quite damaging as well.
Yeah, you only need one disgruntled employee, I should say, and take it all with a pinch of salt. But it is a data point, but it is only one data point. So have a broad sample.
Absolutely. Absolutely.